The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Would you come if I asked you to ride with me on this one-way road that leads? I don't know, but I will take you anywhere you see. I know what you need, and what you got is exactly what I.
¿Cómo están todos?
Counterflow.
Here we go again.
Hey, Pacho, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry guys, I've been a little bit busy, so I was not able to make it over here.
Okay, well, it's going to be James Deacon and
Alan Sevilla.
the original
Pacho.
crew. We're all going to be here until about, well, for the next 44 minutes, to be precise. So just hang in tight there. We're going to have a pretty wild show. Occasionally go sideways every now and again, as we always do. And we'll be talking about a lot about cars. So if that's not your thing, tune out now. Now's your cue. Okay, you know we had a pretty busy week. We're going to be inviting a guest from Lexus coming up somewhere towards the middle of the show, because we'll be talking about the all new IS F Sport.
Oh yeah.
In particular. Okay, so we'll save that for then.
Okay.
Of course, you got a little Formula One to talk about. We got, of course, general car stuff to talk about. But what I really would like to start off with is a pretty big thing that happened in motoring right now, which is a new law that was passed. A Republic Act was signed into law by President Aquino, which now declares drunk driving as illegal.
Oh, that's finally.
Okay? A minimum fine.
I heard it's huge.
It's huge because it's a minimum fine even if you're caught without an incident, no accident, no injuries. 20,000 pesos up
so
to
bad.
80,000 pesos.
How are they going to be proving this, James? Do they have the
that's what we want
breathalyzer
to
already?
talk about, yeah,
Okay.
because we got from 20 to 80,000 pesos and 3 months in
20
jail.
to 80?
Yeah,
80,000
20 to 80. That's without an incident.
Okay.
If there's an incident, it goes up to like 200 to 300,000. If there is, if it's a public utility vehicle, it's up to 500,000, and permanent. They'll revoke your license permanently. Plus, of course, there's jail time.
Yeah, but that one, I see already a problem there.
Well, this is why we're discussing it, because
Yeah.
it is a very good, very commendable law in theory or in principle, and we all support that. We've been saying this for a long, long time. However, the reason I bring it up is, yes, I do have quite a lot of concerns, and I'm actually... That will be the topic for Wednesday's column. So we're actually just jumping the gun here and talking about it because, okay, here's my problem with it. You can make the laws as strict as you like. You can make the penalties as strict as you like. That we'll always support that.
Yeah.
But what the big problem is here is, number one, there is still no prescribed blood alcohol level. Okay?
Yeah, that's one.
If you don't have a prescribed legal limit, it's pointless. It's like picking up somebody for speeding and then
Cannot be subject.
And what is going to be
Without
the
a subject.
if you don't have a 100 on the highway and then you pick him up and said, sir, you're going too fast. Too fast for what? And then on top of that, can you imagine you don't have a sign and you don't have a gun?
Okay. You know, you're talking about that one. There is something kind of quite funny. It happened though. Many years ago when, remember the soft opening of the SCTX?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
All right. Then they say that for the first week, they did not enforce
Yes.
speed limit. There was very few cars running and everything. That's when we did a lot of speed run tests. There was no any enforcement on speed or anything. Then after that, they say, well, we're going to enforce the speeding, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a Subaru fun run. You know, then many people brought out Subarus and everything. Many of them were really following. And then somebody on a Subaru just passed one of the...
Oh, I was in that fun run.
Oh, yeah.
It was Roland, right?
Yeah.
It was Roland. I was in there.
Wow.
I was in that exact same fun run.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you there too, Pacho?
No. I just heard
Okay.
from him though. Actually,
It was actually an official, official Subaru event. they were testing the STI, and then they brought the Subaru Club, etc. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
then
remember.
everybody was supposed to be going to Subic to test the cars and
Alright.
everything, right? And then, well, they said, okay, be careful with the speed limit. Everybody was, taking care of that one, though. Then Roland was driving at 100 kilometers per hour, but he has a bigger wheels in his car. So maybe that give you like 105,
105.
maybe 110. And then he passed this patrol, and according with the patrol, he was doing 100 kilometers per hour. The patrol was doing 100 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
As soon as he saw that the Subaru passed him, overspeeding. I mean, how can you evaluate something like that? I
Yes.
think that's the concern.
But usually,
Well, that is the concern.
what
I
they
mean,
do in Slex, there's a leeway. Like, for example, 105 is still acceptable
no,
for
it
it.
should be a
right?
10% discrepancy.
Yeah,
on the
10%.
speed limit,
That
on
would
the
be
speed
And
limit.
I heard that the NLEX are actually pretty lenient up to, well, our next guest will confirm it, up to about 100, 110. But I wouldn't quote us on that because then you might just get that one guy who's not
I
lenient
got
that
caught
day.
doing 110.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah,
It's
so-
probably
You
better to
did?
say
Yes,
just
I
stick to
probably
100
was.
because you might get the guy who's not lenient and then
Yeah.
okay, but going back to drinking and driving because this is a very serious topic.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, okay, you're speeding and then the fine is a couple of thousand pesos and you pick up your license, but it's another thing to say to somebody 20 to 80,000 pesos plus 3 months in jail.
But how would they know?
I'll tell you
what
how
to
they know.
charge?
This is I was going through the entire Republic Act word for word trying to find anything that was in there that I could. And you know what? There was no pre-prescribed limit. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to conduct a field sobriety test, which is
Fields.
basically a very subjective, which they do in the United States, but I'm worried about it being so subjective.
Repeat after me. Tetracochonteronte. Oh, you're drunk.
Yes.
You cannot repeat that.
Yeah.
You're drunk.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh.
But they make you stand on one leg. What if you're injured? I mean, what if you?
You can always tell them, right? I'm injured. I
Yeah.
can't walk.
Okay. So then what's the
I drive.
point? You know?
Yeah, I
and they'll
know.
say, okay, well, you're not speaking straight. Well, I have an impediment. I can't.
always-
There's always going to be something. Now,
There you go.
What I don't, and then also you have to. Are you going to put your life in the hands of some guy who's capable of extorting you for 20 to 80,000 pesos, assuming you haven't had an accident?
Yeah.
So here's the problem I see. Number one, you could have that guy coming home from dinner with his family, had a glass of wine or 2 bottles of beer or something like that.
Yeah.
He's still well within control. He's not drunk. He's got his kids in the car. You get this guy that stops you because they can stop you for swerving,
Yeah.
stopping suddenly. Another, all subjective. If they picture you on the road, they see that you're doing something erratic. Who doesn't drive erratically in the Philippines?
Yeah,
The
everybody
guy who
does.
doesn't drive, you show me the guy who doesn't drive erratically, he's the guy in the accident because he's sticking to his lane when boom. You need to
Yeah.
move around and stuff like that. So anyway, it's subjective. So a cop will say, well, this guy looks drunk, so he can pull you over, and then he can say, well, get out of the car and do a sobriety test. Now, if you do the sobriety test and you fail, then he can take you down to the precinct. Just see where this is going. If you're a guy who's had 1 or 2 glasses of wine, you'd be like, can we just settle this without no? Because he can be saying, sir, it's not just 20 to 80,000. You can go to jail for this. And you're like freaking out. You're just saying, okay, fine, here's $5,000. That's what I'm worried about, is it leaves too much room for extortion.
Yeah.
Do you have a breathalyzer unit? They said that they will equip them with breathalyzer units, but
That
they're
would
not-
be the best
But they're
solution.
not saying exactly. All I'm asking for are 2 things: a blood alcohol limit.
Yeah.
Okay, give
Yeah.
us 0.05, 0.06, or whatever it is, and a way to actually measure it. Because if you don't have either of those 2, it's like not having a posted sign on speed and not having a radar gun and just telling somebody that they
And
were
not the speed
speeding
limit.
based on gut feel.
Yeah.
Okay, except this one is far more serious. Now, the other scenario that's dangerous, okay, there's one guy, the innocent guy, man A, we'll call him. Man B is the habitual offender. This is a guy who's driving home all the time drunk, drugged out, irresponsible. He's a real jerk on the road, right? He gets stopped by the cops. The cops say to him, okay, get out of the car and do the field sobriety test. He fails the test and he says, okay, fine, take me in. So they take him in. They give him a breathalyzer and they
Yeah.
say, oh, 1 point whatever, 2. Okay, fine.
Let's have a drink and we talk about it.
Aside from that, that's one way. Let's have a drink
Yep.
and talk about. Or number 2, okay, let's bring in my lawyer. And my lawyer will say to you, define drunk. But he's drunk. We define it. because we don't have a legal limit
Yeah.
to base it on what's drunk. Maybe 2 beers for you, Pacho. I guarantee you, I can have 6 beers and I can still beat your score on Candy Crush.
Maybe one.
You see, one
beer.
and that's 1 beer versus something like because of tolerance, etc. A
Yeah.
woman, for example, completely different. It affects body weight, tolerance, gender. These are all things that can.
Yeah.
So 2 people drinking the same amount is not necessarily the key. That's why
Yeah, you're right.
you have to have an established,
Yep.
recommended legal blood alcohol limit. Now, hopefully, there's still time. That's why I'm
Yeah, that is really a problem there because you need to define what is drunk. You know, like okay, they're saying that you cannot swerve. Define swerving,
yeah,
Yeah.
right? It's the same, basically the same thing, though.
exactly. So that's
How much is the cost of a breathalyzer? How come they can't
You know, it's
provide
not- it's-
before they even
well,
pass
that's-
the bill? They should have thought about this already, right?
They should have. They had enough
Yeah.
time leading up to it. But okay, let's give them the chance because why we're putting pressure on it now, why I'm saying it is because I believe there's still a chance while the implementing rules and regulations are still set to be discussed. They need to give us 15 days from publishing it in several broadsheets. I sent 2 newspapers of general circulation, and then they have to provide the breathalyzers. What I'm worried about is the way they seem to be going is that they're going to be deputizing people. I am pushing for something as strong as if you don't have a pre-prescribed blood alcohol limit and you don't have a breathalyzer, a checkpoint is null and void.
Yep.
That you have the right to say to them, no, this is harassment and I can charge you for extortion.
Yeah.
I'm only going that extreme because, yes, while I can see the sense in, okay, if the guy is visually drunk, but it's too much subjectiveness.
Yeah,
you're
I agree. It's just gonna be one more layer of corruption then.
Yep.
And then you know what? What they tend to do is, in one more layer of corruption, what we should be doing is we should be parking outside. These guys should be parking outside bars and stuff like that. Car parks.
Yeah.
Okay, the car parks in like say Resorts World or all these places that you know attract people who have the possibility to do this. Stop them before they get on the road. Don't wait for them to get on the road down the street hiding in the bushes. No, stop them at the car park exit. Sir, before you exit, can we? He's not going to leave if he sees a booze bus there. And isn't that good?
And it's the easiest way to catch those guys because you're at there.
Exactly.
At that spot
or
already.
Actually, I get
prevent
the
them
point
from
of Ja-
actually.
you know, I get the point of James. It's like you don't want to catch those guys. What you want is to prevent those guys
prevent
to go
them.
to
Yeah,
the road.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're drunk and everything. Say, okay, as simple as this. Or you take a cab and leave your car here, or somebody to drive your car, or you're
use
gonna get,
Lifeline.
or you're gonna get in jail.
Exactly. You know what? It's a difference between are you doing this for revenue raising or are you really doing this for safety? Because if you're doing
There
it
you go.
for revenue raising, yes, you hide behind the bush down the street. But in the meantime,
Which is totally wrong.
which is totally wrong because he could have killed 2 people before then, right? Or more. Or you just set up a checkpoint at a visible checkpoint, and especially let's say a good place would be Resorts World because there's only one exit coming out of those big car parks, right?
Yep.
You have a casino. And I'm not picking on Resorts World per se. I'm just saying it's an entertainment complex that tends to attract drinkers and party goers, etc.
Yeah, actually.
So you put
I
it
mean,
right
the party
there.
places, Tomas Morato, McCarthy
Yes. Yeah,
Avenue,
there's so many.
Yes.
etc., right?
You place them right there, and that way, if I'm drunk and I'm walking up and I'm still contemplating driving home, and I see them, I'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna sleep in my car now, or I'm just gonna get a room, or I'm just gonna get a taxi home because I'm not gonna get out of this car park, which is good. We want to make them don't make them even get behind the wheel. I mean, all right, so that's one. Yeah, all these places, Tomas Morato, all these hot spots. We should just have police presence, but they have to have the breathalyzers.
Yeah.
If they don't, and they don't have the pre-prescribed limit, I'm guaranteeing you we're going to be hearing more stories of extortion. And, like I said, the reverse, which is even worse, the actual offenders getting away with it based on illegality.
You're right.
Yeah,
See? There
that's
you go.
really bad. Now, the other thing that you said about is the utility vehicles.
The public utility vehicles?
Yes.
What about they're up for even bigger fines because if they have a professional license.
Yeah, but this is the problem. To who?
Well, you can get the operator, impound the jeepney. So let's say, okay, you're talking about an owner-driven jeepney who hasn't got much money, let's say, but his vehicle might be worth $300,000 or $400,000.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about also buses. I'm talking about
Buses,
also trucks.
it's the operators. because they're actually legally liable now under this new revised.
Yeah, because unfortunately here, I see, well, what I see and I read in, you know, in the news and everything is, you know, the drivers are quite disposable.
Yes, they are. It's a good term. It's a harsh term, but it's a good term. It's actually
For them, it's like that, you know. I mean, I don't care about the driver as long as my boss is in the road producing money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, this is why you have to have a strike through. Well, in this Republic Act, I noticed that they had a clause in there that holds the operator liable. So the operator himself, unless they can show and prove beyond reasonable doubt that they have actually done more than their fair share to prevent this. In other words, they have their own breathalyzer units that they use before their drivers go out. If you can prove that, then the guy sneaking a little tanduay inside the bus, well, you've done all you can do for due care. Right. Now, you have a strike-3 system. If that same bus company has 3 within a year or 3 within...
They get their license revoked?
I seen the franchise revoked.
That's great.
It has to be up to that level, because
be like that.
Otherwise, okay, so the guy's got he's sneaking a little lapad of tanduay, right? He's managed to turn up to work sober. They give him a breathalyzer before he jumps in the bus. This is a private test, right? He blows in and everything's good, jumps in the bus. He's having a little swig on the side. Yeah. Then if that happens, then you make sure you get a conductor that's responsible, that's checking on that. That's why 3 strikes, because you can't be held, responsible for the first one. So if that happens, then next time you get a conductor that also check and balance system, stuff like that. And but you have to be a little bit lenient, because I wouldn't certainly want to hire a driver and then my driver is driving drunk and I didn't know about. Now all of a sudden I owe 500,000 pesos.
Yeah, you're right.
That's where. But if you're a bus company that just doesn't give a damn, then by all means. If you're a jeepney owner, driven jeepney, and you can't pay the 500,000, they take your jeepney. It may not be worth 500, but it's something, and then you go to jail. But then this also opens the door for, once again, the service that we've always talked about here. 500 pesos, you get driven home by an ambulance, which is a little spark of life. Lifeline will come and pick you up wherever you are in Metro Manila, take you to any point in Metro Manila for $500. You get home safe, everyone's safe. It's just, really, it's a no-brainer now, especially. Before, we were just appealing to people's sense of decency. Mm-hmm. Now, it's actually the law now. Because before, there was no law, there was no enforcement. You can guarantee that in the beginning, especially of this, they're going to go all out. Especially if they have to buy breathalyzers, they're going to have to get the money back.
Yeah, that's what you call pondo.
That's going to be the problem now.
That's ROI, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So now
that's what I was thinking, James.
Yeah.
They'll be using the money that they'll
Absolutely.
be getting to buy those breathalyzers, so at least they won't need to spend right away.
Well, they're actually thinking of charging the motor vehicles users charge and building into our LTO. But I also don't think that's very fair. I think they should just cough up first. They have budget, and then use the fines
from there.
that they get, and then keep doing it.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that they paid their way back with the speed guns they have in the NLX and SLX. The ROI on that's probably one weekend, right?
Yeah.
So
just like in Ayala, Alabang, I still remember when they first implemented the speed guns there. I heard from one of the guards that I know that they raked in around 60,000 the first weekend. 60,000 pesos.
And that was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, that was in the 90s.
Late
Can you imagine
90s.
that?
And they got 60 grand.
60 grand.
Wow.
Just one weekend.
Wow. That's
because people weren't used to the speeding yet, weren't used with the speed guns yet, so everybody was still breaking the rules.
And then I remember
till they got caught.
Because I was in I remember when I first moved in there was 1998. And it was very new, and people they just didn't believe that the Philippines was that advanced and all that. But it's a private village. It goes to show if there's initiative and there's the willingness to do it, we can do it. We can do this as well with the drunk driving. But let's just make sure that what we're doing is actually solving the problem, not just creating another negotiating point for a very expensive fine.
That's right.
It has to be also hand in hand also with I will say like training and education of the MMDA officers or whoever is gonna be there. Also, it has to be like a change of character, because like you're saying, you can be like hiding behind the bushes to try to get money out of it, or you just be very visible for everybody to actually don't dare to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the best way. Actually, sorry, you're saying.
No, a very good example of that is I live in the south in Merville, and there's I have to take the service road going to the Nichols Bridge, if anyone can picture this, and then I go over the Nichols Bridge, and I want to go always usually on the South Expressway going to Makati. Now, when you cross over the Nichols Bridge, the legal way is to take a right-hand turn, and then you go under the bridge, cross the railroad tracks, and that's you're doing a loop. So if you're picturing this, you're doing a loop like that. But the faster way is to do the illegal U-turn, okay? Because it's right there. And then sometimes a train comes and it slows people down. Not that I would ever do it, but I've seen people do it. The thing is, there's an MMDA standing right there who you can clearly see. As you're coming, you just see him. Okay, we can't do the U-turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas if he's hiding behind the bushes, it doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
Boom,
It
they
won't
do the
solve the
U-turn,
problem.
then they jump out of the... No. What we would want are people to not do it. So I think we should have high visibility. We should have random breath testing like Australia, where you have a dedicated, what they call booze bus, and you have to have a lot of people in it. When I say a lot of people, you have to have a lot of enforcers. I'm talking when you have a checkpoint, 5, 6, 7 people, because that's the only way to sort of minimize the corruption a little bit. Because now you're
Yes.
dealing with 7 people. It's not as easy to... Because then later on, that guy's going to say, how come you let him go?
But the thing is, James, we're talking about 80,000, a maximum penalty, and if there's
80,000, but 80,000 is once you go to court, etc.
Yeah.
But you know, these
Yeah.
things will be solved on the side of the road for $5,000. Okay, yes, there's still an opportunity to give each other 500 each for every drunk guy, but it's minimizing. It's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is minimize the possibilities of corruption.
just one
because-
honest cop there would make a difference.
exactly,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Proper training for them as well, you know, and then, you know, like, but okay.
Or I'm sure, and sorry to interrupt, I'm pretty sure you can get the breathalyzer units that record and register. So if you register 10 drunk over the limits,
yeah.
where are those 10 people?
Yes.
This is what happens with the speed gun. This is why in the north and in the south you can't get away. Congressmen have gone there. I've gotten calls from congressmen who've said, James, tell them to. I said, if you can't do it, what the hell do you think makes you think I can get you out of this
It's
mess?
impossible.
Yeah, you know what? It's impossible because the guy is going to risk his job for what? For 500 pesos? Because he's going to get caught
Yeah.
because he has to account for. Now, the guy at the toll that everyone's been notified, right? Plate number, blah, blah, blah. Please stop them. So
There's no
every
escape.
toll attendant's been notified.
Yeah.
The guy who pressed the gun knows about it. It's gone over to the base. They're cops.
And it's being recorded on the gun
And then
itself.
it's on the gun.
There's
There's
a
an
video
accounting
too.
system.
So
there's a
there's-
video.
there's no
This is
escape.
why the breathalyzers should be the ones where they record the actual reading.
Yeah.
That way you have a very good accounting system.
Yep.
You have 10 over the limits and you only have one guy in prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, you know, like even for the road, you know, people are concerned that people don't follow the, you know, the road, the laws and everything. I remember something that happened in Colombia before. Actually, the people were saying like, okay, they changed all the fines. All right, and then also the cops were properly trained, and then all of them have to be visible, you know, in certain spots and everything. And then just gonna give you an example what can happen in Bogota, Colombia, if you go out on color code, and you are
Yes.
bowel.
Yeah, this is. I remember this story. Yeah, but you can.
All right.
refresh
So
everyone's
basically,
memory.
what happened there is
It's a really. Oh, this is incredible.
you go out in your car and you have color code, and then once the policeman asks you to stop, and you try to run away, all fines will be ×2 because you try to avoid him or escape. So all fines will be ×2. Now you're there. All of them have motorcycles. All of them have radios. So you're gonna get caught anyway. You're gonna really get caught. Okay. Now once you get caught, you stop. I'm gonna say to you, okay, your car is color code. You are not allowed to drive in the road, so you get a ticket for that.
Yeah.
So get a ticket. That ticket don't give you the right to continue driving the car because that is not for that.
So
Your car is still color code.
Okay.
So you cannot move your car now. But you are illegal parking. So now you get a ticket for illegal parking. All right?
I think we should do that.
And then
It
once
gets
your
worse,
car
it
is
gets
illegal,
worse.
once your car is illegal parked, we need to call a tow truck to move your car because you are illegal park here. And the tow truck is going to pick up the car, and then you have to pay for the fee of the tow truck. They're going to tow your car to an impounding area. In impounding area, you have to pay parking fee for your car to be there. Now, you have to get clearance of everything, taxes, registration, previous tickets, whatever. All the things has to be clear before you can clear up your car from the parking lot. If I recall right, the parking lot is supposed to be around 120 pesos per hour. Wow. All right. Now, just imagine, and then you have to pay this one on the bank. Now, imagine you get caught at around 4 p.m. All banks are closed.
Yeah.
You have to wait until 9 a.m. next day.
What if it's a weekend?
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse.
Video should put up a.
So, the people.
They're open Saturdays.
Actually, the people in Colombia start to complain and say, you guys are trying to make business out of this.
Yeah.
And the person in charge says, no, we are not trying to make business out of this. But, you don't want to pay? Don't break the law.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I remember that story when Pacho said, but it was a while now, and I wanted him to repeat it. When you create it like that, it's just, you got to be really dumb to now drive coding, right?
Yeah,
just like you got to be now really dumb.
I think that's what we need here in the Philippines.
drive.
A stiffer penalty, and we're all going to follow.
Exactly.
I'm pretty
Because
sure.
I don't know why we tend to be pretty good about it in Makati, right?
Yeah, you're right.
People
Nobody
are
likes to
scared.
drive in coding
Nobody.
Makati.
If you're coding,
Because
you
I
never
remember-
enter
but,
Makati.
a friend of mine just came from the States. He just left yesterday, and he borrowed my car. And I said to him, okay, but it's bawal on Monday. And he's Filipino, but he's been living in the States for 15 years. So he's like, yeah, right, bawal. How much is the fine? I said, I think it's like 300 or 500 pesos. Yeah, right. It's nothing, It's cheaper than renting a car because other than that, I have to rent a car.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay, no, 500 is cheap for you. I agree, but every corner? He's like, what do you mean? Well, yeah, you pay this guy, but Makati is just loaded. By the time it's not worth it.
You
dude.
can't show your ticket. I
not-
already paid you.
No.
Yeah, no, that's not the way.
Doesn't work
that
that way in
Makati,
Makati.
yeah.
The ticket is not giving you the right for...
No, because you're like, no, the guy, the MAPSA guy is gonna be like, anong pakialam ko dyan? That's not. I mean, yeah, you paid that guy. Okay, he's not gonna share it with me.
So there are stories that guy
yeah.
that drove Makati that's
And
been
then-
given like 5 or 6 tickets.
Well, I don't know
because
if
he
you've been
used
given 5 or 6, but even if you're, let's say, talk your way out, do you want to talk your way out of 5 or 6
Yeah.
different stops?
You're
It's just not worth it.
Yeah,
So I don't bother anymore. In fact, today is my coding day.
Yeah.
And my coding day is I'm allowed to drive from Merville through the fort because I can even drive all the way through here. Sorry, I can drive all the way from Merville to Rockwell without hitting coding because I come off EDSA flyover. EDSA's not coding,
Yeah.
right? On
No.
10 to 3.
10 to 3.
10 to 3. So I come over the flyover, and usually they're pretty tolerant here because it's a commercial area, and we just take the first right into one Rockwell. So we're pretty safe there. Here's the deal, though. I had to drop my son in the fort, so that meant I had to drop him there, and then the only other way was to go. You go under and you go through EDSA.
Okay.
Southbound.
Yeah,
Okay,
southbound,
listen to this. This is insane. Taguig, there's no coding. EDSA, there's no coding. But there's about 5 square meters that you cross, which is Makati.
Oh my
There is a
gosh.
yellow guy in yellow, a MAPSA guy standing in that.
Where is this exactly, James?
Okay, Kalayaan Avenue, to be
okay,
precise.
okay.
Okay, so you
Oh
come
my
off
God,
Taguig, you're fine.
that's crazy.
And then all of a sudden you hit Kalayaan Avenue. Ed says right there, you
Yeah.
can smell the buses. But there's this one dividing line where it happens to be my jurisdiction. And I think he's actually standing literally right. Like if you move, Taguig, and there EDSA. No. And he's going to stop you.
You got caught.
Really?
Happens all the time. Happens all the
So
time.
what did you do? You
No,
don't have
I
your
didn't get
li-
caught this time because
Okay.
I knew about it.
All right.
And
So you were like hiding.
one of our Mark Sung has his Ferrari, the dealership there, Ferrari service center, should I say
Yeah.
there. So he's always been complaining about it. And sure
Yeah.
enough, it happened to me before.
Yeah.
And literally, it's that abusive.
Wow.
Anyway, we've been taking a lot of time. We have a special guest that's come all the way here to visit us. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this quick video. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Carlo from Lexus.
2013 Lexus IS 350 F Sport. Checking it out in Austin, Texas. I am R.D. Lopez, tech editor and senior photographer for C Magazine. I'm stuttering in excitement. I tell you, James Deacon has got it down pat to a science, how to basically drive without losing composure and gab a lot. Well, definitely, it is very comfortable as a performance luxury sedan, premium sedan, but the added stiffness on the body, as they have explained in the presentation, is pretty much evident because the car doesn't have a lot of body roll. I'm taking these corners aggressively, and I tell you, the car is doing it quite effortlessly. It feels very planted, and as they mentioned, the steering is spot on, more direct. It has a different kind, upgraded electronic power steering. And I tell you, the feedback is fantastic. It makes the driver a lot more confident, makes you handle aggressive driving situations with ease. Oh yes, no problem. This is showcasing the strength of the IS350 in terms of the improved body rigidity and all the improvements they put in on the latest iteration of the IS350 F Sport. You can see, well, of course, in the hands of an expert veteran driver, the lines are very much defined and very smooth, but the car is behaving fantastically. He says it's normal driving, but oh my gosh. If this is normal driving, I'm walking in the park.
Let me correct my giddy self. This is actually the 2014 Lexus IS 350 F Sport, powered by a 3.5-liter 24-valve 2GR FSC V6 gasoline engine with double VVTi, and is mated to an advanced ISF-derived 8-speed automatic transmission with Sport Direct Shift. It's rated at 310 horsepower, 378 Newton-meters of torque, does 0 to 100 kph in under 6 seconds with a maximum speed of 230 kph, and with character and styling that just goes through the roof. With professional credentials that span well over 30 years, the Lexus Meister Yoshiaki Ito has got to be the best person to properly showcase the immense prowess of the new Lexus IS 350 F Sport, demonstrating how the car slices through the track with surgical precision and seemingly without much effort. I've taken lots of high-speed shotgun rides before, but this simply takes the cake. Now I've got a much bigger respect and desire for the IS, for I think it has a considerable
And just then, Pacho decided to say goodbye. Bye, Pacho.
Yeah, I still have
carefully. All right.
work.
We tried. And this was like a long one. Normally we put like a 30-second video. This time we put like a 4-minute video. But I would like to introduce you to Carlo Chungunco. Can you say it for us?
Chungunco. It's Chungunco.
It's not bad. That was
say
close.
it as fast as you can.
Oh, okay.
You're close. You're close.
Chungunco.
Okay.
Chungunco.
Yes, perfect.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Keep it at that.
And officially, what is your position at Lexus?
I handle the marketing and events for Lexus, so I'm the marketing services officer.
Speaking of events, we just came from an awesome event over the weekend where we were able to drive that brand new IS F Sport.
Yeah.
And that was really a sensational weekend we had. We were able to try. Can I say about the cars we tried?
Go ahead,
I guess so. Right. We were able to try the IS 350, the IS F Sport 350, as well as its competitors. Now, I noticed that the competitors were like the 320 and the C200. And initially I thought, wait, hang on, that's not a competitor because that's not fighting fire with fire, right?
You're right.
They should be bringing up the 328 or the C280. But then the common thread was price.
The common thread was price.
I
What
see.
we wanted to show is basically we didn't want to say anything bad because all the cars are good. All
You,
luxury
you
cars
wanted us to
nowadays
say
are
the
good.
bad things.
Basically, we wanted to show what kind of car X amount of money can get. So in the IS350 and the IS350 F Sport, you see a nice drifting video over there.
That's my shot. That's my shot.
and,
Oh, that's it. We'll talk about
we'll
that.
talk
That's
about it
a
in
taxi
a
You also
ride.
rode the
Yeah.
LFA, James, so around the
so
track.
We
Yeah.
wanted to show everyone what you can get for that amount of money. So with the IS350 F Sport and the IS350 coming in X amount, this is what you get with our competitors. So not saying anything bad about them. It's just
It's apples to apples now.
Apples to apples.
This is what you get for your money in this premium compact class.
Yeah.
And look at that interior. That is.
Let's talk about the
really-
goodies inside the IS.
Yes, you got to run
I'm
us
pretty
through the
sure.
goodies because that is, I guess, the nicest interior I've ever seen.
thank you.
In a premium compact class. I felt like I was in the LFA, but even more comfortable because I mean the LFA is like you sit in it like a glove and
Yeah.
this one.
It's a
Well, you
different
don't know the
purpose, yeah.
LFA. You don't sit in an LFA. You wear it.
Yeah, you're right.
or
This-
it wears you.
It wears you. it wore me out.
If you're going to discuss the IS350
Yeah, okay,
and the F
let's-
Sport, you have to go back. I remember a while ago you mentioned that we brought also the current generation IS, the IS300.
Yes.
So that one was a decent compact luxury sedan. But what happened with this one is JPEPA. If you remember, JPEPA only
yeah.
affects engines above 3 liters displacement.
Which is weird in itself, right? Because other countries would actually penalize anything over
Yes.
a bigger engine, but
But I think in the Philippines they're trying to prioritize not killing the local industry,
which
wherein
really
they-
play in the under 2 liter
under
that
2
area
liter
or the 2
category.
liter category.
Yeah. So when the IS300 came out, it was before JPEPA, so it was a 3 liter V6. It was about 4 cc short of being 3 liters. So unfortunately for it, its price didn't change from 2.9.
Ooh, wow.
So 4 cc, I was telling them maybe we can just sand it a little bit, get it up. But,
Pacho, come back here. Sand this thing out.
but when this one came out, we were doing the pricing study, and we realized that we could bring in the IS350 at the same price
It's a
or
nice
less.
shot. It's a nice shot.
It
off
is a
topic,
nice
yeah,
shot.
thank you.
I love the photographer who did
Yeah,
this.
it's just-
It's fantastic. So the IS350 comes in actually cheaper than the current IS300, but you do get the new 3.5 liter dual injection V6
That is
engine.
insane.
How many variants do
We
you
have
guys
2
have?
variants in the Philippines: the IS350, 3.5 liter dual injection V6, 306 horsepower. ISF 8-speed automatic transmission.
Sorry, you said
What are the difference? When you say F Sport, it's the transmission. What else?
No, the IS350 is equipped with the 350 and the F Sport actually share the powertrain.
Oh, I see.
Even with the cheaper IS350, you get the
Wow.
same power and you get the same ISF derived 8-speed automatic. The changes with the IS350 and the F Sport happens more on the outside and in the inside.
Okay.
In terms of the F Sport, you have the body kit, of course. You
Okay.
can see it there. That's actually the regular one. You have the LED headlamps. You have the super nice spindle grille that goes from top to
Yeah.
bottom. And then for the toys, you get the LFA gauges, which I think you like a lot.
Oh,
So
it makes all the difference in the world. I mean,
It does.
That's for the F Sport, right?
For the F Sport.
Only the F Sport gets the LFA gauges, which you
Okay.
can see there. It's actually
Wow.
right there in the middle of the steering wheel. You do get the navigation as standard in the F Sport. So
and
we
it's
have,
actually local navigation.
yeah,
which
factory
is
navigation.
I haven't really seen this in other. Oh, actually, Suzu, but no,
Really?
no, they have an
This is the first?
aftermarket.
Yeah, normally in the Philippines you get an aftermarket,
And it's really it's
outdated.
it's not out it's just unusable. I find it unusable. It's not an integrated factory system like this.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the other Europeans. I'm not sure if I remember one other European bringing it in, but definitely this is the nicest integrated navigational system I've seen for the Philippines because it's just like the European ones.
Yeah, it's a European
Okay.
one. It works with a remote touch interface. It's all the same system you get in the States, is the same system you get here, except here it's loaded up with RMAP. So when the car was in the showroom, we were like, points of interests, hotels, hospitals. Oh, St. Luke's is there. Very updated. So from there, you can actually, if the hotel did provide their telephone number, you can press a button, you call the number from your car.
Wow.
Basically.
Okay,
it's
so
very integrated.
what are the other but you also have adaptive suspension in the F Sport,
Yes,
right?
the F Sport comes with our adaptive variable suspension. So you can switch it up from being normal, sporty, or you can go all the way full on sports mode. And you've tried it on the track
With just a touch of a button.
touch of a button, yeah.
Yes,
Even while you're running.
Exactly. It's which was we actually did in the exercise. We would take the same lap. He would switch we would actually switch our own from eco. Is it eco normal
From normal to S plus all the way.
and S plus?
Yeah.
So 2 two settings
What
or
are the
three?
choices?
There are 4 choices, basically. Well, the IS350 comes with 3 choices: Eco, Normal, and Sport. So in Eco, your aircon's a little bit weaker, saves gas that way.
Oh, okay.
Your throttle application is very retarded. And then your 8-speed automatic shifts up a lot earlier.
Okay.
Now in Normal, everything's just normal. In Sport, what happens is you firm up your steering. Your throttle response gets much sharper. And then the aircon is still normal.
And
But
your,
in the
even your butt clenches.
yeah,
But that's nothing to do with the electronics. It's just when you're driving around the
becomes
corner.
a lot more aggressive, and it holds the gear all the way to the red line. Will not
Yeah.
shift up for you. The nice thing about the S Plus is that in the F Sport you get an S Plus mode. In S Plus, the suspension firms up as well.
Oh, okay. You
So
only get that
one-
with the F Sport.
You only
right?
get that with the F Sport.
The only thing that it doesn't have, which is both a good and a bad thing, you cannot disable the traction control.
You cannot disable it completely from the buttons that are given.
Yeah.
But I'm
there.
pretty sure there's going to be
But
some of
if you
that.
have an onboard diagnostic tool and you have a death wish,
Oh, see?
you can.
Because it was funny, actually, because the test driver, what was his name again? The Japanese.
Yoshihiro Kataoka.
Kataoka-san was 1996 rally champion.
Oh, he beat Mackinnon. That's
Yes,
what
he was a
Carlo
teammate.
told
He was
me.
APRC champion. He was with Tommy Mackinnon. Outstanding driver, crazy guy. He was having so much fun with the car, and he was so dedicated that he really tried to get the car to drift.
Okay.
But as good as Kataoka-san is, who was extremely good, he's trying to actually undo what they've spent millions of dollars and
Yeah.
thousands of man hours teaching the car not to do.
Yeah.
And so, but he really tried because it gives you a little play. It gives
does
you
give you a
give.
little play.
So he would have to try and overwhelm the thing. And it was a combination. It was either it was a little bit clumsy or it was, okay, you got me.
Yeah, okay.
But, so in the worst case, if he did everything again, he managed to spin it out once, I think. But that was him doing all of his rally skills, trying to
Scandinavian tricks
actually
and,
unsettle the car. And he was able to do it, I think, once or twice. But it just goes to show you the level of traction and stability control that the car has got, that even a seasoned rally driver like that couldn't actually lose it.
Yeah.
Or it took him all his skill, basically, to be able to just spin out. And, man, the smiles from people's faces when they were jumping out of
Smells
that
and the
car.
screams. The screams
the
of
screams.
sheer terror. Yes.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Okay,
This
so...
is for the LFA or the
No, this is the
F,
this
right?
is the IS.
Oh, okay.
No, with the LFA,
It's another story.
I said to him in the LFA, because I was number one. Believe me, there was eye gouging, elbowing involved. When they said, okay, but because it was a surprise.
It was a surprise. Basically, the LFA, we had a small video commemorating the last of production LFAs to come out. It came out last year. We stopped production in 2012. And so there's a nice video. Oh, this is just a beginning for Lexus. And then we announced, everyone just heard the V10 wailing coming around the track, and it came out. So everyone rushed outside. They were
And the
looking
thing
at
is,
car.
we were looking at video, but the video was actually of Clark. And it was actually a live video.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, we all just ran out.
No
and
announcement needed. Just
Yeah, we ran out. I mean, we were like, oh my
No
God,
more
wait.
introductions. You
It's
just hear the
It looks
engine.
like Clark. It
It
looks
looks
like
like
Clark.
Clark.
And then, wow, it sounds so close. And with my, oh my God, it really is it. And then that's the LFA right there. So
Yeah.
we all ran out. And
then
we
while-
were just expecting to see the car go around.
Yeah, and then while everyone's
Because
taking
that's the
their
usual
photos,
case, right?
everyone was
That's
taking their
what we do.
photos. Everyone was crowding
Yeah.
around the car. Suddenly, we announced the taxi ride, and everyone left the LFA.
It was like, that's when the eye gouging and the elbowing came in. And so we were like...
And you were the first.
We were like housewives on a sale, those Labor Day
was like
sales.
Black Saturday
Black
sale.
Saturday sales. That's what it was like. So I remember, I think I was able to give a nice uppercut to Jeff Reyes, who was diving in there.
There's helmets flying, balaclavas being thrown everywhere.
It was
so-
it was insane, and I managed to put my name down first. So I got James. Okay, grabbed the helmet. Sugata-san pulled rank, and he sat in front. But I wasn't going to.
What is the feeling, James? Tell me.
Okay, so
riding in the LFA.
I sat there. I put my helmet on, and I turned to him and I said, because in the first one he was saying to me in the taxi ride, no possible. Taxon control ne, very intelligent. And I was like, can't you turn it off? And I was trying to push it.
Oh my
and
God.
I wore a hole into the thing, but he said, no, not possible. So I said, okay, fine. So we had our taxi ride with the ISF Sport, after which I jumped into the LFA and I said, Kataoka-san, this one can be. And he said, no, very expensive. oh, settle down. You know? So I was like, okay, all right, fine. So I settled down, and he just put it to which mode? That
Sport, probably
sport
just
just gives
mode.
you a little bit of play.
Is it the same choices like a four?
No. I don't think there's an eco mode in the LFA. I haven't tried.
All right.
Actually, there is an eco mode,
There is,
but
right?
it's still quite wild. So basically,
Okay.
put the car in sport. Now, if you remember the Nürburgring LFA, the one that set the record at 7:14.64, the world's
Yeah.
fastest production car, that record was actually set with traction control on. So if Kataoka-san did not turn off the traction control, it's because of the VDIM, the system controlling
it's-
all
yeah.
the safety systems. It's actually a very good system.
It is. I was just, I guess, trying to. I mean, if anything,
Yeah.
he would turn it off only just to give a show. But if you wanted to go fast, I mean, it really is keep it on.
Yeah.
So you'd ask me what the feeling. Well, you know, I had that cheeky smile because he goes, "How's it feel?" Well, it's almost as good as when I drove it.
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're the only
stopped
only
mid-track.
one.
Get out!
You're the only Filipino journalist who is
So is
able
that
to
why
drive
you're
an LFA,
walking?
right?
That's why I was walking. Yeah,
I thought you were taking a photo.
No. I was walking back. He kicked me out. It was like, no. I didn't tell him anymore. I didn't want to break his heart because it's one thing.
I drove faster than you.
Can you confirm you received the message? No. I said he just got that. So I said to him, I didn't tell him anymore because it's one thing to drive an LFA, which is just an experience I'll never forget, and it's another thing completely, entirely, to be driven by somebody like that. So his skill level, it's nice. It's just awesome. Sadly, it was under 500 kilometers,
Yeah.
which means that there's a built-in protection system,
Yeah, it's a rev limiter.
which is up to
It's an
7,000.
automatic break-in system, so you only get 7,200 RPM, not the full 9,800.
Not
So you get that after 500.
You get it after 500.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's like Gran Turismo. You have to unlock it.
Yeah, I
It's exactly
know.
the same. So when I looked and I said, 7,000, what did they do? I didn't notice I had under 500. I said, why is it 7,000? And it really begins to sing after 7,000.
After, yeah.
But so initially, I was like, oh, a little bit, come on. However, in reality, we were doing, Carlo was doing timed laps. Not that the guy was timed. He was doing just taxi rides. The times were 2 minutes and 12 seconds around Clark.
Yep.
Now, that may not blow a lot of you guys away if you think about it,
Yep.
unless you realize that, one, it was a taxi ride with two people, driven not as a race, but as a taxi ride. Number two, it's a standing start
And finish.
and a stop box finish.
Finish, yeah.
And the stop box is not a dedicated stop box where he can just try to do the best he can.
There are people there.
It's surrounded by people instead of cones.
Oh, okay.
So he could come out of that last corner and just come down on the brakes. He had about 100 meters to shed off 120 kilometers an hour. And he was still doing 2 minutes 12. Just to give you a reference point on that, Carlos Anton was able to break
Record
the
holder
again.
of Clark.
And he just won again the day after, and he set a 206.
Yeah, 206.
And that's in a dedicated, purposely set up race car, dialed into that track, driven by a guy who is just knows that every nook and cranny of that track.
You're right.
So you can imagine what the LFA would be capable of doing.
Once it's broken in.
Yeah.
And gets to its 9,800 RPM.
So there, it was a really awesome experience. So going back to the IS, which is really what's for sale here, not the LFA. The IS and the ISF Sport. This is different to an ISF, right? That's still in the pipelines.
The ISF is basically an IS with the V8 engine.
Yep.
And as of the moment, at least in the US, we never bought the ISF in here. But in the US, the ISF is being sold. The old generation ISF is being sold alongside this new IS. So
Okay.
there are really there's really a gap between the two models. I think the ISF should be released worldwide maybe sometime next year. But those are all
next year or next year.
maybe next year for next year production.
Okay, so next year, are there any clues, any hints that will it have a V8 or will they?
We don't know. We honestly don't know. We hope it'll have a V8. We could possibly have a V10, but
Yeah, the
again,
10.
again, we don't know. We don't know. It's
Could you imagine a V10 in the
It's all a
ISF?
wish list.
Oh.
I mean,
as of the
because
moment for us.
the Lexus LFA, the engine is small enough. It's the world's smallest V10.
It's the
right?
world's smallest V10s, the weight of a V8 with the size of a V6.
So technically speaking, there's nothing engineering-wise that says you can't shoehorn it into an IS.
Maybe the price. I mean, it's made in the F1 factory in Japan, so.
Well, that's true.
That's true. And you know what? Actually, in terms of power, the IS350 is miles above the old IS. The old IS put out 228 horsepower from a 3-liter V6. This new one's a 3.5-liter V6 with 306 horsepower.
Wow.
Now that,
And torque.
That's a big jump.
And the torque?
That's a big jump.
a lot.
A lot. It's a monster story. Okay, yeah, because that could be really good. I can just imagine a V10 in there, but you're right, price. Now, before we have to wrap up, does Yamaha have any involvement with this model IS? They had involvement with the Lexus LFA?
They didn't have involvement with the IS's engine this time, but they did have some involvement with the sound generator.
Okay.
We have a sound generator. Basically, what it does, it gets the intake sound, and there are ribs and some, basically the stuff we learned from the LFA, how to make a good sounding engine.
Okay.
Lexus engines, normally when you're talking Lexus, in the past 10 years, we've gone from very, very reliable cars, and now suddenly you can use the words aggressive, passionate, powerful, sporty, all in the same sentence as the word Lexus, which is a big change for us. It started with the GS, and right before that, started with the LFA. So now,
Yeah, the LFA.
with the IS the way it is, it's really the firmest stance we have in the aggressive, confident market for luxury sports sedans.
Okay, well, we pretty much have to leave it there. But you want to talk about precision, Alan? I know Carlos seen this already, but if you guys want to know exactly what they mean about controlled aggression and precision, we're going to leave you with this very, very, very short video. So till then, this has been James Deacon. Drive safely, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Now, yeah, Hero was trying to be so cool, but I have to actually stream it.
You forgot the video, James.
Yeah, because the last one was pumped in. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, all right.
And just my luck, we're probably going to end up saying, oh, no, it's not here.
Yeah, I can't find
it's going to be here. Just talk among yourselves.
While that's happening,
Yeah,
we're actually launching the car, officially launching the car sometime next week.
I think the
June
video is
11.
there.
So we're launching it June 11.
Okay.
It'll be ready for test drive after that. So anyone who wants to drop by, they can drive both the 350 and the F Sport. So
Fantastic.
I think the video is ready.
Okay, I got it. And 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
That's what I'm saying. That's saying. Ang galing nga, diba? That's how good ka.
That is crazy.